Hi, Pagan Shooter here, and as you can see, I've got my AR out. This is the one that I had just completed not too long ago, and actually, last you saw, I had the red dot on. As you see, though, there is no, and nothing in the chamber, by the way. Okay, so back to it. So this is, I had the red dot on this. I recently have made a purchase and got a new scope for it because the red dot I liked, but in this case I needed something a little more, something to get me a little bit further out. I feel that the 5.56 is capable of more, and I shouldn't limit it to a red dot. So what I did is I went ahead and I looked online and I found the Leapers UTG 3 to 9 by 32 scope. Now this is a lit reticle. In other words, it has a red and green light to the crosshairs. So we'll get to that. I want to show a few of the features. The scope, first off, has a very nice, sturdy feel to it when you pull it out of the box. I was pretty impressed with that. The other thing that it came with was about a 2-inch sunshade. You can see it feels like it's machined aluminum, and that fits. You would take off this cap, and then there's a outer ring here that you can unscrew. This would then screw on, extending the length of it. And then here, I can actually add that on here. Let's go ahead and pop this cap off. The caps actually come off pretty simply. They hold on, but they do come off. Let's see. So actually, no, I was wrong. There is no ring that comes off on this one. You would simply just screw the cap on, or the shade on. I'll go ahead and put it up here, and I haven't actually put this one on this one. So it's a bit more, there we go. So you have your sunshade that'll fit on, and it'll screw down and tight. You want to get it nice and hand tight, and that way it extends it out, so if it's bright, the sun won't cause any glare on the lens inside. Now, yes, you can buy, you know, a couple $1,000, up to $1,000 to a couple $1,000 scope that will not get the sun glare as bad. I understand that. This only cost $80. So I'm impressed with the fact that this came with as many of the features it did before you start telling me that you can buy high-end ones that don't require that. Just letting you know. So what I have noticed is the cap doesn't really fit as well with the sunshade on, so you really can't use both. I would rather use the cap, and I'm not going to be doing too much shooting outside right now, or at least in direct sunlight, so I'm not going to leave that on there. But I'm impressed that it came with it. And of the quality of it. So it screws off pretty well. The very fine thread, so there's a lot of grab to it. So that actually fit pretty well. It comes with your standard cleaning cloth, which this one's actually pretty big. A couple of batteries. It comes with the mounting brackets, which are, as you can see, quick release mounting brackets. Here you would just flip these up and it would release. The adjustment screw is right there on the mounting bracket, so you can actually adjust it down and tighten it down, kind of like a vice grip. So it does fit really tight on here. I'm going to go ahead and put my cap back on. There we go. Like I said, they do come on and off pretty easily. They're not that easy, which is probably a good thing. And I put that on a little crooked, so we'll put that on right. Good, there we go. Okay, so the features of the scope. The scope features zeroing, locking barrel adjustments for elevation and windage. Basically, what this means is you have a larger adjustment here, which you can turn, and it's a very positive. I don't know if you guys could hear that. A very positive click. You can feel it very well, and you can hear it. Now, in the range, probably not as much, or if you have hearing protection on, you probably won't be able to hear it, but you can feel it. As you turn it, you feel every single click, so it's a very positive click. The other thing is, once you find zero on the rifle, what you'll do is you'll unscrew the bolt. There is a hex bolt in the cap of them. You loosen that up 1 or 2 turns, you lift, and then you return it to zero. What that does is that allows you to know exactly where zero is. Once you're done shooting, you can return your rifle back to zero very easily. And obviously, if you're a more advanced user, you would know this already, so just go ahead and ignore me. So the other thing that this features is a lockdown. So there's a ring here at the bottom of the barrel, at the bottom of the adjustment here, that if you turn it, it will lock the adjustment, so you can't make adjustments, or so you can't accidentally bump it. So say you have it zeroed and you go to sling it over your shoulder, you bump that, and it might knock it off 1 or 2 ticks. Well, this allows you to lock it in place so it doesn't. Or say you don't want it to just be as easily adjustable, you can lock that down so you have to know that you're actually adjusting it. It features a 3-to-9 magnification in the rear, as well as parallax adjustment in the front. So you would turn this to adjust for focus on what you're shooting at. The crosshairs on this, and I'll pop those up and try to get you a view of that. Let's see, let's go ahead and turn this on to get a view. So the crosshairs, if you look down there, I don't know if we're going to get you a view of it today, but the crosshairs, you can definitely see some red down in there. The crosshairs are lighting up red. There is also a green view down in there as well. And you can see that it's lighting up. And what it does is it just lights up the actual crosshairs. So it makes them a little easier to pick out on certain targets. If you're shooting at something that's a bit darker, or it is darker, and then it's a little bit easier to pick up the crosshairs if there's a little bit of light attached to them. And the crosshairs are actually pretty well defined in there. So even at greater distances, you can see them pretty well. All in all, it feels like a very sturdy scope. I plan to take this to the range today to give it a bit of a test and see how it works and see how the adjustments are. One thing when you're mounting these, you want to make sure that the scope is zeroed. If you go to the website for UTG, they give you a couple of different methods of doing that. I will tell you that 99% of the scopes I have bought in my life have already come from the factory zeroed. If you buy one used, you should check it for zero. From the factory, you should also check it for zero, but more than likely it'll already be set to zero. Go to the UTG website. They've also got YouTube channels on how to zero your scope before mounting it. You want to make sure that it's set to absolute zero on that scope before you put it on. Otherwise, you could have trouble finding and getting it into adjustment. But this is the UTG 3-to-9x32 scope. I got it for $80 on Amazon. A very inexpensive scope. So far, seems extremely high quality for the amount of money I spent on it. For the type of scope this is, and for the features it offers, I would have expected to spend at least $200 to $300 on this scope so far. We'll see as I when I go to the range and give it a bit more of a test. if it's as accurate, if it's as, well, maybe not accurate, but if it's as the adjustments work as well as I had hoped, if it's sturdy enough to handle the 5.56, and what I put through this, if it's sturdy enough to handle the movement to and from the range in just a regular bag. We'll see how that works out, and we'll see if this actually holds up. But for the most part, so far, it feels like a very well machined, very well thought out, and very nice piece of equipment so far. This is Pagan Shooter. Go ahead and leave me a like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know if you tried the UTG before. And if you have, what did your experience with it? Go ahead and let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time.